on the left, lower left side. Wow. Oh, and another one just below it. And that lower one has eggs, green eggs, on her pleopods. If you can see through her translucent body and see that green color. Wow, those are beautiful. So in general, we see a lot of close associations between certain coral species and crustaceans and sometimes polychaetes. I'm not sure if this particular association of this shrimp and a hydroid is something that's known or not, but there's a third one and a fourth one. So there are at least 4 of these little tiny shrimps.
Right, let's come on up.
Oops, and we have a Nuzumi, a rat-tail fish in the background.
Full white.
Oh, and is that our first sea star of the day?
Of the day.
All right, come on in.
Some more sponges.
I wonder if that's the orange one that Chris Maw has been interested in previous dives.
Make her head tight. And we'll get the shot and then I'll get closer. Okay, come on out.
How long we have left on that move now?
We only have a few more meters. You guys ready to
lasers?
put in another move right after?
Yeah, just hold on the next move for a second.
Copy that. Should be coming to a stop here shortly.
Copy.
Right, come on in. Did enough fog lights on for this one, Amanda.
Okay, lights coming on.
We're slowly adding numbers to our chat room as scientists wake up and get their morning coffee. We are appreciative of all of you who are joining us and hope more will come online.
All right. Let's go right out. Excuse me. There, we can kill the fog lights.
And that's a goniasterid sea star, but which species I'm not sure. I was looking back through my notes from when Chris Maw has called in before. There was a pulsaster and a plinthaster.
Peltaster.
Pultaster.
Or plinthaster.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for that move. Looks like you're starting to get calling in. Another 30 meters at 225.
Copy.
Bridge, this is ROV nav.
Go ahead.
Another ship move, 30 meters at 225 degrees. Speed decimal 2, please.
Roger, 30225 at point 2.
Good copy, Bridge. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of mouse clicking. You hearing that? Let's do a snap right here.
Wow, look at all the brittle stars on that.
It's amazing.
It makes it look pink.
Yeah.
Huh.
Goodness. That's high density.
So what are we looking at here? Is that
Another hydroid?
the hydroids?
Yeah. And a Emunida picta with all of his legs.
Hey, coming up.
I think. Get a feel for the topography of this area. We are riding up the backbone of a ridge north of the primary mound feature called Lophelia.
Bridge, this is ROV nav.
ROV nav, this is the bridge.
Could you repeat what the current move you're doing is?
That move is looks like he wrote a 30 bearing 225, speed decimal 2.
Good copy. That's what it should be.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the screen and it's looking like we're moving astern, right?
Yes, that's what I'm seeing as well.
Maybe he didn't type in the correct number, so I'm gonna bring us to an easy stop and then type in what you initially wanted, which was a 225.
That is correct. Thank you very much,
I'll
Bridge.
do that.
Thanks.
I suspect they typed in 30 for the bearing.
I would agree with that.
So you might want to let watch lead know we got to back up a little bit here.
Yeah, and pilots, just so you know, it looks like we've moved back about 20 meters before I caught that. I apologize.
That's fine. It shows you how vigilant you have to be and how quickly things change.
Agree.
ROV nav bridge.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Oh, did you copy that? Move of bearing a 225 has been now initiated.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you very much.
So watch lead was an error in the ship move, so we were going backwards for a little bit there, so hence why I'm backing up with the ROV. So we'll have to do a couple of ship moves before we start moving forward again.
And we have another one of these, what we think are some type of grouper.
Kill lasers.
Oh, and Ken Sulak said it is a wreckfish.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, they're big enough, certainly. That's great because we've seen several of these.
So that's Polyprion americanus.
So they have an interesting life history that is being worked up, certainly, as we learn more about them. But these fish, their only known spawning area is in a place off of Charleston called the Charleston Bump. Was that Ken dialing in, maybe?
Do we have somebody joining us online?
Yeah, this is Chris Ma. Good morning.
Oh,
Good
hi,
morning,
Chris.
How are you?
Good morning. I hope I didn't interrupt.
No.
There's a slight time lag, so I'm not sure how far behind I am. I actually saw a picture of one on Twitter before you saw it, about, 10 seconds or so before you actually got to it on video. It's funny. It's almost like watching the future.
Okay, pilot, I believe I'm already moving forward.
That orange sea star you saw is one that we haven't seen before.
Rotators at
And
90 degrees.
they're difficult to tell given the sort of contorted position it was in. But I think that was Ceramaster. It's a little more stellate, star-shaped than I'm used to seeing them. But like I said, it was kind of bent out of shape. So it could be something very similar like Mediaster, but probably feeding on the sort of organic detritus that was on the surface of these Lophelia reefs. And not an uncommon species known for this area. They're often difficult to tell apart from some of the other ones that you saw, the sort of cookie stars. But this one in particular is rather distinct from, I think, what we've been seeing, just in terms of the shape. So I get the impression that that one, the new one that I was looking at the other day, we might be best to wait until we see something up like that little star feeding on stylasterids again. It was very distinct from the ones that we've been seeing. Most of these are pretty classic sea stars for this area. But this was, again, this is a new one relative to the ones we've been seeing. So thanks
Great.
very much.
I didn't realize it was different. It looked the same to me, but I don't have the knowledge that you do. So thanks so much for correcting us there.
That's okay. I mean, like I said before, goniasterids are the most diverse family of sea stars, and even though they're fairly distinct to me, they can be very similar looking in appearance. Their general gestalt, is instantly recognizable, but can be very difficult to tell apart for people who aren't familiar with them right away. So no worries.
Well, great. Thanks so much, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good morning.
You too.
And we're still seeing several of these wreckfish. I started to say that the Charleston Bump, which is south of here, but also very strongly influenced by the Gulf Stream, is a very rocky area with ledges and caves, and we explored them in one of the early years of ocean exploration, supported by NOAA, and with George Sudbury's group. George is formerly of the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources and later moved on to be in the National Marine Fisheries Group, and actually with Gray's Reef Sanctuary for several years. And anyway, the habitat of this fish clearly ranges in depth, but off the Charleston Bump,
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you.
it hides among the caves, and it is the only known, or at least in 2004 and 5, was the only known spawning area of this commercially viable fish. And so we were considering the Charleston Bump as an area
Pilots, do you feel
forward.
comfortable with another move?
as a marine protected area. And the
push
life
it out a little
history
bit.
as we knew it
Wrap it up.
then, and maybe Ken Sulak can educate us on what
Let's
we've
get the
learned
crinoid
since. But we knew that these fish spawned in the Charleston Bump area, and then the juveniles hung out in that region for a while and took advantage of the upwelling of nutrients to the near surface waters, and so they could There's a little eddy that occurs there.
Watch lead, this is Matt.
And then they swim. They take advantage of the Gulf Stream.
Just want to let you know that we have transected another 100 meters, or we have moved another 100
how
meters.
do we know that?
Total
Because
of 200
many
meters.
of the fish that we find in the Charleston Bump, or several, I shouldn't say many, have had Portuguese fish hooks still within their mouths and indicating they have swum a great distance.
Looks like you're pretty stretched out there. I'll call him the move.
Bump.
Sure.
And at
30
the time,
meters,
in
225.
the early 2000s, we were
Bridge,
unaware
this is
of any
ROV
other
nav.
spawning locations. So definitely
same exact move again, 30 meters at 225 degrees, speed 0.2 knots, please.
30 meters, bearing 225, speed 0.2.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you.
Do you want more lighting video?
Put on the fog lights.
ROV nav, bridge move initiated.
Good copy, Bridge. Thanks.
You can put them on, Fernando.
All right, video. Gonna turn on the lights.
And unlike other sea stars, this group tends to sit still and put its tentacles up into the current. Is that correct? And capture particles above it instead of migrating across the seabed and eating food underneath it. Definitely better adapted for that with its long and numerous tentacles, dispelling the myth that all sea stars have
Come
5
out just
limbs.
a little bit. That's good. Should call in that move.
Yes, I did. I
don't
called
think
it
that's
in
truly a
at
myth
14.7.
anymore, but a lot of people think that.
Right, come on out. Let's kill the lights.
Okay, video. Lights coming
The
off.
little yellow dots you see here and there, those are the cup corals. They're solitary corals instead of living among these stony frameworks or skeletons. This is a steep little ridge here.
Let's just do a snap here.
Another sponge. We don't have Scott France to assist with some of these identifications. Or Nolan Barrett, he's been very helpful with some of these sponges, and of course Shirley Pomponi.
Go ahead, watch lead. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that now. I believe we're in a good position.
And we'd like for the front row to introduce themselves, please.
So pilots, we're going to go ahead if you guys are comfortable and ready to go.
Roger, start us off.
Okay. Good morning. This is the front row speaking. I'd like to introduce you to ourselves. My name is Lars Murphy on nav.
This is Josh Carlson in the pilot seat.
Sitting as co-pilot, this is Fernando Aragon.
Bob Nutt on video, and we have nobody in the clipping chair right now, but we're all from the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
And
let's zoom in here.
we picked a time when Art Howard just stepped out of the control room, but he'll be back, I assure you. And in the back row, we just have myself and Cheryl. I'm Leslie Sauter from the College of Charleston Geology Department. and I am serving as the geology lead for this mission.
And I'm Cheryl Morrison from the U.S. Geological Survey Leetown Science Center, and I am serving as the biology science lead. And this fish is hoping that
Very
will go
shy.
away.
Shy or terrified?
Or both.
Or both, yes. I don't know if we've seen him today. Have we seen that
Can you
species?
put on the fog lights here?
It's hard to tell. I don't think so.
Video, the lights are coming on.
Yeah, come on in. See if you can get the head if you have any more zoom. Or is that max? Yeah.
It's just draped with brittle stars.
All right.
I haven't
Just
noticed
come on
them
out.
in quite that abundance on previous dives. They're just everywhere.
They are.
You can
Nice
lose the
Venus
fog lights.
flytrap anemone.
Okay,
Another
turning lights
Echinus
off.
type urchin or two. Oh, and the wreckfish is back.
These are close to 1 meter in length for scale, if not more than 1 meter. Some of them definitely get larger than that in these waters.
That move should be wrapping up soon. You guys comfortable with another one? You seem pretty.
We're now at
Well set up.
423 meters.
Yeah, we can keep going.
Copy that.
So this is one of the more shallow dives that we've done so far in this expedition. And the furthest north that we've been.
Yes, we're going to be pushed further north with each of our dives in the next few days. We have about 6 dives remaining, 6 days of diving remaining. We do plan to push offshore into
Go ahead, workshop.
a deep region. It's the base of a long, winding submarine canyon. We'll do another mid-water dive on that day. Otherwise, the rest of our dives are at least planned to be in waters, around 500 meters, 400 to 500
Good
meters.
copy, warehouse. Thank you.
Looking at some of these amazing
See
submarine
if we can get a
canyons
grouper.
north of here. This is our
Pilots,
last
will you listen to warehouse
Yeah,
then?
mound
Copy
lake
that.
Copy.
feature.
Let's see if we can get one of these wreckfish.
Works for me.
Of course, now we won't see any more.
I'll let you know. Yeah, we can go ahead and call in that move.
It's interesting that gully
Copy
between these mounds filled with sediment and no corals.
Bridge, this is ROV nav.
You can see it
Go ahead,
there.
Ivan Nav.
Looks like you guys are done with that move. Are you ready for another?
Just about done. I'm ready for another one.
Excellent. We will do the exact same
Yeah, I
thing.
imagine some of the
30
sediment
meters
has
at
deposited
225
on the mound
degrees,
itself
speed 0
within the
decimal
corals,
2.
and then it
Okay,
slips
30
down
meters
into
at
the
225,
gullies.
speed decimal 2.
Good
And it's
copy. Thank you.
also- It must be protected from the current somewhat, or it wouldn't have
Do
a
a
chance to
zoom on
settle.
the sediment.
But as we zoom in, we'll see that it's covered, most likely, yes, with shells of pteropods, which are the planktonic snails.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank
Very
you.
fragile tests, or shells in this case. They're known as shells. And they're made of aragonite, which is the same composition as the calcareous material that you also see that corals use and other snails and many
tiny-
different organisms use calcium
that.
carbonate, CaCO3.
Hermit
Oh, look at that.
That
hermit
is
crab.
awesome. He's using a piece of coral
that's
rubble
so
as
funny.
his shell.
I don't think I've seen that before.
That is,
Sort of
he's
like,
got to be like
wearing a
smaller than
lampshade.
the pteropod shells.
That's great.
Wow.
Seems like an awful lot of structure to carry around for such a small hermit crab, but he's making it work.
Definitely good camouflage in this setting.
Yeah.
You have a grouper on your starboard side, but it's like right on the lights.
See some sea urchin spines in that.
Yep.
In the sediment too. Oops.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I wonder if he's just trying this out, or if he's been carrying around.
It's like watching someone with a top hat on a windy day.
Doesn't seem very. I don't know.
Efficient.
Yeah, I don't know if efficient's the word.
What is that? Beauty is pain?
I think he could find something better.
Let's come out, get some lasers
Maybe
on him,
a smaller piece.
show the scale.
That's great.
I think he's smaller than the
and all that
laser
white
dot.
material that's the Pteropod shells that you see. And as I said, they're made of aragonite, which is the same chemical formula as calcite, but the difference is it has a slightly different structure to it and breaks down more easily in corrosive seawater. So in the fossil record, if we find pteropods, say in cores when we're coring deep into Earth history, into the sediment layers, if we find pteropods, it's a really good sign, not only because we like pteropods, but because they indicate that very little dissolution has occurred. And that's a good chemical signature
Cutting off my camera
of the seawater composition. Most of the material that makes up the sediment here, though, is likely of the regular calcite
76 degrees on
CaCO3,
rotator.
and it is slightly more resistant to dissolution than the aragonite. In the deep sea, though, both of those types of CaCO3 are not found in great quantities due to high rates of dissolution. The chemistry of the seawater on the seafloor in great depths is very corrosive to calcium carbonate preservation.
It was a carapace. It was not a horseshoe crab. It was a shell.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's do a quick zoom here.
And there's a Chaunax. This one looks a bit more yellow than the ones we've seen in previous dives. But this species is really good at changing colors, so maybe when he's in a different mood, he'll be more orange. Chaunax. No, so Chaunax is the red-eyed gaper.
Yeah.
And you can see he has a little patch between his eyes. These types of fishes often have lures. Some of them are extended in front of their mouths, kind of like a little fishing lure, and fish will be attracted to it, and then they get sucked into that big mouth. And there also, some of them have chemical lures, and I would imagine that this one might be a species with a chemical lure, which has an attractant in it, since it's not dangling the lure out front. Soul patch, yeah, exactly. And there's also another little baby hermit crab just in front of the fish, using coral rubble as a shell again.
We collected a couple of these on the Charleston bump expeditions, and we used a suction device. We were using the Johnson Sea Link, and as soon as he was grabbed with the suction device, he inflated with water and became a very round. He looked more like a puffer fish, and his little modified fins were just dangling and wiggling, and he remained completely inflated all the way up to the surface. And it wasn't until we kept him in cold water, we were hoping to keep him alive for the duration of the, well, we did. We kept him alive for the duration of the expedition, and then the South Carolina Aquarium had him for a while in the in holding before he went into the tank, and sadly he didn't make it, but he did deflate after a while. But that's an interesting mechanism for defense, to scare organisms away to inflate, but it also rendered him pretty immobile. He couldn't use his fins at all, so I wasn't quite sure what the purpose of that was.
Ooh, they was trying to eat something.
Hey, let's get the still camera ready.
Copy. Do you want me to turn on the lights?
No, you can leave them off for right now.
Okay.
Ken Sulak said that these wreckfish often stay together in small pods, so not big schools of fish, but at least a handful at a time.
Should see it on that screen momentarily.
And that seems to be what we're observing today. And this one sure is posing nicely.
Yeah, you can turn the lights on.
The lights coming on.
You might not like that.
Yeah.
Oop.
Oh, we got something.
What's my camera angle right now? I can't see.
-17.
Close. Can we come full wide? Can we full wide on main Zeus?
And Asako is pointing out that this is a fish dive today. So even though we're not
seeing
a
come
diversity
full wide
of
on
corals,
Zeus,
we're
please?
definitely seeing a diversity of fishes.
There you go.
That was a pretty good one.
Alright, what's that camera angle? -12. Right. I'm going to push ahead. We can turn off the still for now.
Okay, still cams off.
And the light.
Lights are off. We lost the
what is that?
From Syria, from the
that is
so another one.
Something else on the
Oh
seabed
yeah,
here.
oh, is this a chimera?
Nope, that's another fish.
It's like
Come
another type of grouper. That
Much darker.
That might be a snowy grouper. There's also a black grouper. We're going to keep Ken Sulak busy today.
Yeah. Maybe Andrea Quattrini can join in too, but it's she's in California, so it's still quite early on the Sunday morning there.
Right.
This move should be wrapping up here shortly. Do you want me to call another one as soon as it's done?
Sure.
Copy that. Same direction.
Copy.
I was just going to say it may be a juvenile or a female.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
coming
same body line.
Okay, you can go ahead and call that move.
Copy. I will once the ship stops.
Copy that.
And we're at 417 meters at the Cape Fear Lophelia Bank is the name of this site. There have been several dives on this mound feature, but we're coming up a different flank than I think other mostly submersible dives have occurred.
Let's do a zoom right here.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you. Right, pilots, I'm going to call on that other move.
Yeah, go for it.
Another 30 meters, same direction.
Copy that.
Bridge, this is ROV nav. I'd like to make another move. Same thing. 30 meters at 225 degrees, 0.2 knots, please.
Ooh, and a sea star in the distance.
Good copy. Thank you.
Behind them.
We try to get the sea star from here. It's coming in.
Get a halfway decent view of the sea star. It's pretty far away from us.
Good copy, Bridge. Thanks.
Right, coming up.
On these wreckfish that we're seeing, Tara Luke writes that the stripe down the length of the body is the lateral line system. It's full of sensory pits for mechanoreception.
Let's do a quick zoom here.
Okay, you already have more tether, pilot.
Beautiful white anemone. This looks similar to one that we see in the Gulf of Mexico.
It's a long stalk to it, or body to it. Probably retracts when it's feeling threatened.
Yeah, it's coming up.
And Megan McCullough thought that what the little bivalve-looking shell that closed when we zoomed in on the anemone might be a brachiopod.
Oh, yeah, we just barely caught that. It wasn't quite in focus yet, but it was. I did notice it took a gulp.
Go ahead.
Seeing the squat lobsters on the defense.
Oh, and that's a great view of the sea star.
It's like a little yellow sponge and a white sponge to the right. This is a goniasterid type of sea star. We may hear from Chris Ma to identify it, because I think we've seen this before. He can. we don't dare say which one we think it is.
Well, it's good that he pointed out that they're very speciose, so it would be difficult to tell them apart unless you look at them often.
We'll just stick with goniasterid.
Yeah. And Ken Sulak said that the Chaunax we were looking at might be Chaunax pictus.
Okay, let's come out, get lasers. Okay, it's coming up.
There's a lot of life out there. As soon as you zoom in, you see it. Doesn't look like it at first.
And the fishes can't catch a break. We just keep chasing them, and they keep climbing,
Right,
and we do too.
Fog lights and still cam.
Okay. Lights coming on.
Right. Ooh, there you go. Yep, go ahead. Good copy.
Ken also confirmed what we were talking about earlier, that Chaunax has a pit in its forehead with its lure embedded, and it's a chemical lure. And they're ambush predators.
Your rotator's at -12 right now.
Kill the lights. Kill the still
lights
cam.
coming off.
Well, we could probably try a shot on this guy too.
Okay, still cam still on, but lights are off.
And this is a Venus flytrap
Should
anemone.
I turn them on?
Yeah, let's turn them on.
Okay.
Aptly
Radio
named.
lights coming on.
They don't seem to have a preferred depth range. We've seen them throughout our dives.
One second. All right, let's come on in and zoom.
He knows we're here.
And several other anemones of a different type.
No, we can kill this still cam.
Bottom left and
Come
upper
tight
right.
if you have it. at the other anemones here, Bob. With the one in the back. Is that a... What is that?
Oh, it's like a nudibranch, actually.
I'm thinking nudibranch. I love nudibranchs. Maybe we can see if we can get a top-down shot on them.
Good eye there, pilot, pointing out that possible nudibranch just below the anemone we were looking at.
Hey, come on in.
Looking at you at 85.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Right, go ahead in if you have any more. That's it.
It's a great shot.
It is.
Yeah, the more you look in these types of dead coral skeleton, the more life you'll find.
Right, when you're clear, video. Love those guys.
Pilot, would you mind if I power cycle the aft cam?
Sure.
To see if it comes back?
Yeah, you can kill the fog lights also.
Copy. Killing fog lights video. And then it's utility cam aft, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, there it is.
How you feeling, Fernando? You want to pilot the last hour?
Sure.
Right, there's not a lot of current. There is current, but not a ton.
Okay. Okay.
And we now have Fernando in the pilot seat. And Josh is the co-pilot. They just switched out. And we are at 413 meters depth on the Cape Fear Lophelia Banks. We're seeing a fair number of Echinus urchins and the squat lobster Emunida picta that you see on the left side of the screen.
Pilots, would you feel comfortable with another move? Call it in. Same thing. 30 meters at 225.
Okay, copy.
Bridge, this is ROV nav. We'd like to call in another move if you're ready.
And we've seen lots
It will
of
be the
fish
same thing.
today.
30 meters
Come on
at
in, video, partially.
225 degrees. Speed 0.2, please.
Hold right there.
Good copy. Thank you.
And it looks like possibly another morid cod-like fish. that we just see the tail end.
I'm going to adjust your lights here.
Copy. Tilting up.
Copy that, Bridge. Thank you.
Okay, come in. Hold right there.
So that might be in the Lamanema group. It looks a little darker, but those black coloration.
Okay, video, let's come out.
It's trying really hard to get away from us.
And all the pink that you see is a sea of brittle stars. The abundances are
Actually, this is
amazing
Nav.
here.
Just want to let you know that we've moved another 100 meters, 300 meters in total.
And we've just been informed by Nav that we've actually gone 300 meters so far today in 2.5 hours or so. Making some good
coming
time
in, video.
and seeing a lot of
Let's
fish.
go for the urchin. Hold right there.
I didn't see it. But
Okay. Hold on.
Just a little bit of living Lophelia, the bright white coral, stony coral.
Coming in. Hold right there.
And Ken Sulak also pointed out that the wreckfish we've been seeing are
Let's come out.
opportunistic predators, and they are attracted to disturbance.
Hold right
And
there.
so our ROV vehicle is probably one of the biggest disturbances that will happen in their world today. And so they might be attracted to it.
Okay. Let's come out.
And that when they turn their side to the ROV, it is a display, probably an aggressive display to the ROV.
A lot of squid.
And Megan McCuller let us know that the Nudibranch we are seeing is probably an aeolid, and they're the type that have those long extensions on their back that we saw.
Let's come in right here, video. Right there.
Oh, there's a sea star buried back there, I think. And several anemones and a glass sponge underneath the anemones. And lots of orange brittle stars.
Okay, let's come in.
Looking back at you.
Hold right there. Okay.
And the last sea
let's come
star
out.
we saw was probably Plymphaster dentatus. So I don't know if this is the same one or not. We don't have a very good view of them, of this guy.
Okay, we gotta move on, video. Thank you. Pushing out.
Ooh, what's that? On the upper left corner, there's something.
Another cephalopod.
That's what I was thinking.
Come in.
Octopus.
Hold right there.
Is that the back side of him that we're seeing? Maybe? I'm not sure.
Well, that's his cephalus.
You only have a couple seconds here, Nanda, so
okay.
get your shot.
Okay.
Alright, video, come in a little bit tighter. I don't have a lot of time. Alright.
Okay.
Whenever you're good,
Same
video.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you.
Looks very similar.
I'll try to hold it. Let's come out partially. Let's hold it right there. And then when you're good, we can zoom out and I'll continue.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Copy. Alright.
5 degrees to starboard. Let me double check with pilots, but I feel like that should be alright. Give me a second.
Well,
Pilots, what do you think? 5 degrees to starboard should be...
As long as it's about the A-frame, that's fine.
Copy that.
Venus flytrap on the right.
Bridge is ROV nav. Just want to double check that rotation is around the A-frame. If it is, feel free to rotate 5 degrees to starboard.
All taking advantage of this great habitat that the dead Lophelia
Thank you very much,
coral
Bridge.
makes. And it's also great habitat for living Lophelia.
Mm-hmm. Another one of these gullies with sediment in it.
We haven't seen much in the way of coral diversity, though, have we? Compared to other places.
Nope. This is dominated
Okay,
by
let's come in
Lophelia.
video.
And there's the lime anema.
Cup corals, yellow individuals.
And those are most likely Bathopsamia.
Let's come in right here. Hold right there.
And there's another hermit crab on the right. And looks like that one actually has a gastropod shell, possibly.
Right there, right there. There you go.
There's a nice view.
Is that full zoom?
Yeah, that's great.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
Alright, whenever you're good, video. Okay. Okay, rotating up.
We're now at 410 meters. The top of this feature is about 375 meters. And as we get closer to the top of this feature, we'll probably see a lot more of the live white Lophelia.
We're estimating we have another 35 to 40 meters of climb to the top.
Oh, is that a different type of
Looks
sponge,
like a sponge,
behind
yeah.
this squat lobster? Wonder if that's one of the
Okay,
geodias
whenever you're
that
ready,
we've been
video, we
seeing
can come in.
round demo sponge.
Okay, video, if you're ready, we can come in.